was April 15, 1947. The Brooklyn Dodgers took the field not only to play the American sport of baseball, but to make history that would have a lasting impact forever. This unique 40-man roster included one thing that no other professional team had or dreamed of: an African-American ballplayer. Crowds yelled racial slurs, managers and other clubs boycotted games, and teammates refused to play. Only some of many respected this man's bravery as he defied all odds and, proving all distraught reactions wrong, took his stand and earned himself a lasting legacy, amassing a Hall of Fame career while also serving as a front-runner for the modern civil rights era. This man was Jackie Roosevelt Robinson. Born in Cairo, Georgia, January 31, 1919, Jackie Robinson was raised along with four other children by impoverished sharecroppers Jerry and Mally Robinson. After Jackie's father deserted the struggling family, they relocated to a small, predominantly white neighborhood in Pasadena, California. Jackie and his family experienced early hard relations with the white race, for harassment was no unknown treatment to Jackie and his siblings. Within almost all of the country at the time, the Jim Crow laws prevailed and blacks were separated from almost all white opportunities. Although Robinson faced racial agony as a kid, his mother's strength and brother's influence helped him propel into athletics during and after high school. Manfred Wienhorn noted in his biography, Jackie Robinson, Jackie was proud of his mother, who would not allow the white neighbors to drive her away or frighten her or mistreat her kids. From her, he learned to stand up for his rights. In an interview with Jacob Pomrenke of the Society of Baseball Research, he responded to a question about how Jackie's family ties and childhood experiences groomed him to be the self-driven character he was on the field. His response was clear. There were many factors that made Jackie Robinson a special person, starting with the strength of his mother, Mally Robinson, who moved her family across the country from Georgia by herself and established a new life in California. Jackie also had the benefit of watching his older brother, Mac, as a role model and dealing with athletic fame at an early age. Throughout his life, Jackie faced bouts of discrimination and learned how to deal with them and will himself to succeed. Jackie excelled early in athletics like baseball, football, basketball, and track at UCLA, becoming the first athlete to letter in 4 varsity sports. Unfortunately, his athletic achievements in education were cut short when he left UCLA due to financial hardships, but in 1941, he was hired by the Honolulu Bears to play semi-pro football. But his season ended abruptly when America entered World War II. Upon Jackie's return and the breakout of the war, Jackie was inducted into the U.S. Army, where he served along with over 1 million African Americans, both men and women. Segregated at the time, Jackie was denied entry into officer candidate school, but later earned the promotion as second lieutenant and platoon leader. Jackie's stance against segregation occurs when he, justifiably outraged, refuses to stand up and move to the back of the military bus as ordered to do so, prior to that of Rosa Parks in 1955. In result, a court-martial was issued on Jackie's disobedience, and after earning 4 votes in the multi-hour hearing, he was acquitted of all charges. Months following this incident, Jackie gladly accepted an honorable discharge and returned home peacefully. Entering the picture is the executive and general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers at the time, Branch Rickey. Rickey's strong character represents his stray from traditions and step towards innovation. With an eye for strength and talent, Rickey searched for someone he knew could stand against the prejudice and was well educated, sober, and accustomed to competing with and against white athletes. Jackie Robinson may have not been the best ball player, and may have had a bit of a temper, but his fight for integrating races and his courage crowned him the pioneer Rickey needed. They met on August 28, 1945. Robinson asked during this legendary meeting, "Mr. Rickey, do you want a ball player who is afraid to fight back?" Branch Rickey, knowing of what lies in Jackie's future, exclaimed no. Instead, he mentioned, "I want a ball player with guts enough not to fight back." Jackie agreed to play for the Brooklyn Dodgers and joined the Montreal Royals minor league baseball team. Rickey and the Dodgers experienced utmost disapproval, and daily, Robinson faced near constant racial abuse as multiple teams canceled games and subjected jeers from fans and fellow players alike tried to prevent him from playing the sport. Again, Jacob Pomrenke in his interview mentioned, there was significant opposition inside organized baseball about Rickey's decision to sign Jackie Robinson in 1945. As I mentioned, the major black newspapers around the U.S. had waged a public relations battle for years, trying to pressure the MLB to finally integrate. After Jackie was called up by the Dodgers, there were several efforts by other teams to stop him from playing or to harass him so much that he would quit. On April 10, 1947, the official purchase of Jackie's contract was announced. Jackie's debut at age 28 was the event of the century in professional sports. The Dodgers played the Boston Braves at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. Racism struck hardest. Fans refused to pay and watch a black baseball player, and disgust was amongst the crowd who shared the stadium with people of color. More than 60 years of racial segregation in professional baseball ended when Jackie stepped onto the field. Nobody was enthralled to play a black baseball player in any circumstances. During his career, he withstood racial epithets from opposing players, threatened boycotts from his own teammates, hostile boos from fans, and death threats from enemies. As an example, a group called the Three Travelers sent letters to the police, the Cincinnati Reds, and a local paper vowing to shoot Robinson as he stepped into the field, threatening Jackie and his family maliciously. Although he was constantly harassed and threatened, he took a stand through which he played with daring skill, self-control, and courage. Supporting Jackie was his own teammate and Dodgers shortstop Pee Wee Reese. During a game against the Cincinnati Reds, Reese courageously draped an arm over the shoulders of the nervous rookie infielder in a public show of support. Pee Wee and Jackie's relationship became one of the most iconic and heartfelt moments in any professional sport. In a recent interview with Cassidy Lent from the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum, she, when asked about Jackie's strength to overcome public influence, mentions, when he was younger he tried to fight back against the discrimination he faced. Sometimes he was successful, other times not so much. However, when he signed with the Dodgers, he and Ricky had an agreement that he'd keep quiet about what he was facing and just play baseball. Robinson, true to his word, did just this. After a couple of seasons though, Ricky told him to go ahead and be himself, and that's exactly what he did. He started questioning calls and arguing with umpires, players, and coaches that he felt were treating him differently because of his race. Jackie's legacies in baseball concluded in 1975 when he announced retirement. His ownership as an individual sowed a major diverse fan base by the end of his career. That did not stop his chances to express the unlawful racial discrimination that sat heavily upon America's shoulders. Following his influential career, Jackie continued to be a vocal champion, immediately becoming active in business and politics, becoming the first African-American vice president for American Corporation, co-establishing African-American owned and controlled Freedom Bank, speaking for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and testifying to the Un-American Activities Committee about the acceptance and roles of blacks in military service. Jackie's strength as a public speaker joined the loving arms of civil reformer Martin Luther King Jr. as they both protested for civil rights during Alabama marches.
Dr. King and the other leaders down here is an indication that perhaps the conscience of Birmingham is beginning to awaken. The only thing that we are demanding is that we be allowed to move ahead just like any other American citizen.
Politically, Jackie was very involved as he sent personal letters to President Eisenhower in 1958 advocating for social justice in American public schools. Further, he supported his voice in politics by enhancing Nixon's campaign against John F. Kennedy. Later regretting his choice, Jackie Robinson sent letters and telegrams to President Kennedy welcoming his obedience on fixing social issues, something he was light upon during his campaign, forging a gap between their relationship. Following Kennedy's presidency, Robinson was also entitled to voicing his opinions to President Johnson and New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller. In 1962, Jackie was recognized for his outstanding career and achievements by becoming the first African American inducted into the Hall of Fame. Tragically, in 1972, he passed away of a heart attack after battling diabetes and heart complications during and after his late years of his baseball career, something he chose to keep a secret amongst society. Cassidy Lent reflected on his life in her interview. It is that Robinson transcends baseball that makes him different from other early African American major league players. Not many others took the stand that he did against the racism and discrimination he faced, both on and off the field. It is the fact that he continued to fight publicly after his retirement from baseball that makes him Jackie Robinson. Today, Rachel Robinson continues his legacy by the establishment of the Jackie Robinson Foundation, dedicated to honoring his life and work and providing for American schoolchildren. Jackie's legacy also continues to be celebrated and honored in many different ways. Jackie Robinson changed the way Americans thought. He set aside prejudice and racial strife and withstood verbal and physical strikes. It may seem that he changed baseball and life around the game, but he affected more than that. He opened the eyes of millions of white Americans to the discrimination faced by the people of color and helped reshape society for generations to come. His life brought about change, his legacy brought about strength, and his talent brought about inspiration.